Billy lived in another city, and every summer he came for 3 months to stay with his grandmother, who lived in our 5-story building, in the next doorway. A lot of friends like him came to our house for the summer, to their grandparents' houses, but Billy and I were especially close. Together we climbed construction sites, ran away from the watchman, and in the evenings we picked rowan berries and, when it got dark, hid behind the growing trees in the yard and shot slingshots at the windows of neighboring houses. Many warm memories were made in those days. One day we were hanging around in the yard, thinking of something to do. Billy suggested we go to my house and call a colored gnome. I should say that we were about 7 years old, and it was common then for kids to summon all sorts of devils and the Queen of Spades. I remember that the whole facade of our house was even painted with figures of devils. That's how children who grew up without the internet played in those days, and it was very interesting. And the Queen of Spades? Playing in the yard until dark and calling her a crowd of kids in the entrance that then one was scared to go home. I had to shout to my mother from the street to come out and walk home through the dark entrance. Billy suggested going to my house and calling a colored gnome. There was no one at my house, and I supported the idea with great pleasure. So we went to my house, excited, anticipating some kind of magic. When we came in, Billy asked me to take a clear glass and pour water into it, then add shampoo to it. So I did, and so we sat down on the floor, in the middle of the room, placing the glass in front of us. The rays of the sun were falling from the window directly on the glass itself. And it, filled with water and shampoo, shimmered magically and somehow especially. Next, my friend asked me to stare intently at the glass and keep silent, and he began to say words that I remembered for the rest of my life. Even he does not remember them now, after so much time, and was very surprised when I said them to him when we met. So here are the words themselves. "Hello, dear dwarf. The two of us are here to summon you." And then Billy whispered in an accent, as many people as there are to say, and continued, "Colorful gnome, please appear. Dwarf, are you here?" Then we sat and stared at the glass. Something began to happen that just couldn't be. The silhouette of a man began to emerge. Here we could see a red cap, a blue blouse and white striped socks on his feet. I didn't believe what I saw, writing it off as imagination. Just then, Billy nudged me in the side with his elbow. "Do you see it? Do you see it?" he said with a tremor in his voice. We both watched as if mesmerized. Next came a face that appeared to me to be smiling, squinting its small eyes slyly. It shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow, glistening. Then the water began to get cloudy, the face began to distort. On the face of the man was no longer a kind smile, but an evil grin. His silhouette darkened and became all black. Then the water in the glass turned black, and the little man dissolved in this tar. Then something happened that made us run out of the apartment, namely, the glass shattered into small pieces. Next thing you know, all the shampoo that was in the bathroom turned black. For what I got well from my parents, who thought that it was me who spoiled it with something. Naturally, we didn't say anything to the adults. No one would have believed us.